So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for New Serum, where we are continuing as the other left off, wherein Tootie and Renee have gone on a noble quest to find Delaroose. Unfortunately for them, they found no Delaroose. Renee has taken Tootie back to where she lost him, has in fact pulled the car over, popped out, retrieved her toy pony. God willing, it is still there. And let Tootie do her sweeps and do her yelling and do her texting and whatever else she might do. But whatever the case, there was no Delaroose to be found, and as such the two have come back in what I imagine is a very eventful or very, very scarily quiet car ride. Very scarily.
Several cigarettes have been chain smoked. She's rapidly texting Delaroose's phone. It is Delaroose probably by now has gotten over like 100 messages. And she'll, as Renee is driving probably a bit more frantically.
She's trying so hard to be careful. There's so much rain.
The anger is replaced with a mix of worry and panic, but also it just seems to build and build. I mean, he should have been there, but she just seems to like just pull at the other bits of her hair. Gun still in her lap as well.
Uh-huh. Renee is so quiet. So quiet.
He should be back. No, he wouldn't. He'd message me. He'd wouldn't. No, he'd tell me if something was wrong. I'd know if something was wrong.
I'm sure he's back at the house.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, of course. No. It's fine. He probably realized what you were doing and went back. No, of course he did, Renee. Of course he did. Yeah. So Trudy just ends up sitting there, again, rocking more. She puts on the radio and literally cranks the music up as well, to the point where it begins to almost deafen probably Renee, but for Tootie, it just stops the voices from shouting, screaming at her. The gun hand begins to stroke the thing slowly. Renee can clearly see it, that she is itching and twitching. As eventually the car will pull in as Tootie bursts out of the car, leaving Renee in there for like seconds behind her. She kicks open the door and begins to just scan around the room, letting out several breaths as she comes into the house.
Actually, Tootie, as you burst SWAT entrance through the door, covering all corners and points, you're hit with the smell of something. Roast dinner. Vegetables. Claret? Seems to be wafting from the dining room adjacent to the open living room and kitchen.
She moves quite quickly in. Like anyone who's there will hear the pounding of her boots on the floor. She literally moves in.
Now, I'm guessing from the location from which 2D enters, you'd see the dining room, the dining table sort of in front of you from the one of the ends. Am I correct? Okay,
She'll
I'm correct.
frown.
Let's just have. It's Delaroose sitting on a very neatly made table. There's something that looks like a roast, vegetables, potatoes, a glass of wine, and two unmanned seats.
Teddy?
He looks up as he almost seems to have been interrupted mid-swing of his wine. Ah, I was beginning to wonder when you'd come home.
Where were you?
Where's Renee?
Never mind where Renee is. Where were you?
Are you okay, Tootie?
No, I'm not okay. She tells me that she brought you to the place where she was with, where she met Podrick.
Where she sits back in the chair where she met Padre.
Yeah, apparently she's left something out for him. You okay?
The front door clicks.
He seems deeply drawn into thought. Oh, I see.
She'll move towards her. She almost advances like a fucking demon on top of him nearly. Say something Delaroose would only say.
Okay. And he gets up as he sort of pulls the chair back as he moves up. And without touching Dewey, although he does reach out a hand, almost as if he's about to stroke your cheek, but he doesn't. And then he moves in with his other, sort of, his one hand on her left side, and his face moves him towards the right side of her face, towards her ear, and he whispers gently, in case Renee is here, she can roll to hear this.
No, she's still by the front door, like wiping off.
Okay. Written in her name. And as he says that, I will give myself, see here now, that is still 4, is it not? Yes, it is. 6 dice. Okay, this thing is broken.
Were you rolling it?
I was just rolling it in R20, but I think mine has crashed. Give me 6 dice if you have it like up.
Yeah,
Wait.
I'll do the roll 20 thing.
Okay, thank you. It's a
No, it's a fail. It was nearly a botch, so if you didn't get a success, it's a fail. You got 9, so you got 2 successes, but you got 2 ones.
I don't like your roll 20.
It's the Delaroose demonstration roll, man.
I fucking hate this. That's what he says, though.
Once he says the signature word, she like literally grips his hand almost like a vice then by his wrist. Like squeezes it quite intensely.
Yes, I shoot up. Perhaps he expected a different result. Perhaps. And he moves his head back again to be able to look at her eye to eye.
Don't ever do that to me again.
And he takes that breath and a sigh, but he doesn't need to. You do know I'm never going to leave you, right?
She just nod. Like, by the time Renee comes in, she'll probably hear him say that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, she probably is finally tromping through barefoot again, having left her wet shoes by the door. And when she finally gets to the point where she can see into the dining room and see that the two of them are talking, just kind of stops, stock still, looking perplexed and maybe relieved. Mostly relieved, but very much so perplexed.
I got it.
Oh. Renee. I made supper.
I see that. Why didn't you respond to any of the messages?
He sort of lets his eyes wander between you for an awkward period of time. You must be soaking. It's terrible out there.
There's a tiny knit of brow. They are, in fact, soaking.
Well, why don't you two get dried up and I'll go see up the living room, put on some music. Huh?
Tweety just nods slowly. Yeah. 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 She just moved quickly past Renee, just moving almost like she's suddenly really embarrassed, will kind of just sprint up the stairs.
And Renee will let her blow past and kind of glance after her in a worried fashion, but has taken a moment to towel herself off. And once Tootie is blown past, we'll go ahead and walk around a bit closer to Delaroose so that she can properly, socially engage, because doing so across a room is kind of rude and loud. Well, as she comes a bit closer, she'll have her head ducked so she's not doing, the direct, challenging eye contact type of thing.
Delaroose has slid back into his seat at the head of the table. There is, as I said, two unmanned seats, but with table decorations and cutlery placed.
And
Please.
she'll kind of, as a guess that this might be the best way to do it, we'll just go ahead and take one of the seats. We'll actually sit in it. Though, albeit she's obviously not going to touch any of the food or anything.
I can't enjoy the food, I'm afraid, but
and she stuffs her hands in her lap and thinks about it for a moment and kind of side glances again. Delaroose, why didn't you answer the phone?
I suppose it must have slipped my mind. I think it's dead. And actually, you can roll perception empathy on that one.
She will knit her brow, and actually, I guess I will roll.
And this time I will roll torn up because I got my roll 20 up again. And that is a manipulation subterfuge roll.
Feel free. He will see her reach for her pocket, actually, in response to this claim.
What?
Well,
Do you want me to roll your manip sub, Raz?
No, I do not, because I just rolled and I got 4 successes if difficulty is 6, 3 successes if difficulty is 7.
Asked before.
And that included 2 10s. Which I think counts on his. He has persuasive. No, he only has persuasive as a specialty, and this doesn't actually count. But yeah.
Well, poop sticks. I doubt I can beat it, but let it be said that she is actually, like, reaching for her pocket.
He seems to be continuing to enjoy his dinner.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I didn't botch. But I did fail.
Well, he seems genuinely scatterbrained in that statement. Almost sounds confused at himself.
Okay, so not super earnest, so but definitely like, I don't know. Yeah, she figures it's kind of a dick move, but at the same time is concerned for Tootie because she has seen the slow decline of Tootie's mental state over the course of tonight. And she just pulls out her phone and just bips the little question mark and sends a text. Delaroose, see if she hears it ding.
You hear it vibrate.
On him?
On him.
And her lips just kind of fold in, and she puts the phone back in her pocket. And my, what a nice plate this is.
Delaroose doesn't seem to look at his pocket. In fact, as soon as that sounded off, he stops mid-motion, his wine glass half lifted for another glug. His eye sort of piercing right in front of him, past the dining room, into the living room, to the stairs. And he holds that pose. In fact, he doesn't move a muscle for what you feel is far too long.
Renee, doesn't do it often, but all things considered, because she's not sure what to do and is kind of freaked out after everything that's gone down, she actually stops breathing for once. And just sits there looking at this plate. He doesn't fucking budge until he starts moving again.
So that's where I put it. And his eyes, his entire body doesn't move except his lips. Funny. And he tilts the glass back, emptying its contents in its entirety, taking the entire sort of wine glass, which is only about a quarter filled at this point, in one giant gulp.
And as he tips back the glass and is thus mid-motion, Renee will begin very delicately the process of just ever so slightly nudging out her chair and just not quickly, but just kind of slowly getting herself up, very politely tucking the chair back in under the table as she says, I should go dry off.
Yes, of course. He has still not actually moved his eyes from where they're fastened far beyond the dining room, and even the living room he seems to just be staring out into nothing. Would you be so kind as to check up on Tootie?
Uh-huh. No problem.
I appreciate it.
There's a very, very slight nod, and she will just, she's just gonna go. She's just gonna ease right on the fuck out of that room. And kind of comically, not intentionally, but is kind of trying to avoid that line that he's dead staring in, kind of skirting around it and scampering very quickly up the stairs.
You don't hear another.
Oh. Don't hear another what?
Crashed.
Ah, shit.
I think he meant to say you don't hear another, sound.
Oh boy. Yep, Renee is. Oh, she is going upstairs. Boy, oh boy, is she going upstairs. And yes, in fact, we'll check on Tootie before she bothers drying herself off further.
Yeah, she's standing there. She has folded out her clothes Renee can see it. She's folded these clothes about 4 or 5 times. She's staring at herself in the mirror. She's in a t-shirt and what looks to be shorts, but she just looks confused as her hair is all wet and matted, and she just seems to be just confused, like putting the clothes in, then putting them back, and then staring at herself again, and then looking around the room.
Yeah, Renee will come down the hall, and when she gets to the doorway, we'll pause there for a moment, look in on her, and then not after much of a pause, we'll just kind of reach up next to her and wrap her knuckles lightly on the door frame.
Tootie jumps about a mile.
She actually kind of flinches in response.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. You okay?
Hey. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just making sure everything's here.
Yeah, everything looks okay. You want to dry your hair?
Sure. Yeah.
And she'll actually she hasn't even bothered changing yet, but should Tootie actually come towards the door, I don't know where. Yeah, if they have a master bedroom situation where there's a bathroom attached.
Yeah, there's an ensuite and all that.
Yeah. She will, however, take a moment to kind of offer out a hand to her.
She stares at you hard for a long time. Not in any I'm a fuck you upstairs. It's almost like she's x-raying you essentially. Before she slowly extends the hand out.
And yeah, she just very, very gently takes the hand, it's a reassuring. There's not a tight grasp per se. It's just enough to there is definitely a hand in your hand.
Delaroose is down there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sure?
Mm-hmm. I was just talking to him. He's here. He's fine. I don't know why he didn't answer his phone.
Sometimes he forgets. He gets very busy.
Yeah, I guess.
You're sure it's him, though?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't touch me.
Would it make you feel better?
He said he's there. No, he's there.
Yeah. He's definitely there.
Just nod again. We should just double check everything to make sure everyone's safe.
Mm-hmm. I'll be right back, okay? I'm just gonna change into dry clothes. I won't even close the door.
She'll nod.
And she'll give her hand a very light, it's a very mild squeeze, but it's definitely just reassuring little gesture. And then we'll go ahead and slip her hand free as soon as Tootie's hand loosens, and we'll go ahead and, not hurry, but at a reasonable quick clip, we'll go down the hall to the room she's been using. It can be heard greeting the cat as she slips in, and we'll go very quickly about the process of shucking the wet clothes, pitching them into the hamper, and throwing on essentially PJs, like a comfortable t-shirt, some pajama bottoms. Probably like a pair of the house socks, big fluffy ones. And she'll just tie up her wet hair because fuck it, it's not like she's going to catch a cold.
How long?
It doesn't take long. No, just an aside, if any is listening, which I'm guessing both of them are listening pretty attentively at this point, around the time Renee are finished up with drying off and getting into your new clothes, you'll hear music. In particular, there'll be Edith Piaf's La Vie en Rose, just softly, not like blaring or anything, but you hear it starting playing downstairs.
How long is exactly Renee gone for? This is very important.
It's probably pretty fucking quick, all told. It's not like she has to worry about much else, and she's dried mostly off already, so it's just long enough to whip off some wet clothes, and it's not like she's even bothering with her bra and stuff. She's just pulling something out of her drawer, tugging it on, probably hopping, pulling on the last sock as she comes out of the door.
How much minute-wise, like minute in terms of minutes? Like 5, 4?
Like 5 or less.
Okay. Just gonna make a quick roll because this is kind of important. It's difficulty 6 since it was 5 minutes. I don't know, screen share or that? Yeah, that is that. So yeah, once you come back, Tootie is still there. Although she's stiffened up a bit, she kind of has been in a rigid little pose, but she kind of stares, as you come in.
Hey. Has she budged at all?
Nope.
Then she'll wander over. Again, it's a very slow, easy pace that she eases over and stops maybe a step away and offers her hand out again. He's got the music going. Come on.
Again, stare for the longest time. And the hand slowly extends outwards.
And much as before, it's a very easy grasp. She's at least kenned on to the fact that it reassures Tootie to be able to reach out and touch someone, so she's letting her do it, and in fact kind of inviting her to do so. And once she's got her hand, kind of pivots a little towards the door. Come on, he's downstairs.
Okay. But you said that he was gone to bed earlier. You said that he didn't want to be bothered.
She tilts her head the slightest bit. Well, he was in the dining room, but he said he was going to put on music. And it looks like he has.
Okay. It's not again. All that kind of ferocity you saw before seems to be almost wiped away. She closes her eyes and you do see a smile on her face when she hears a few things and turns, but she seems quite just, I would say, fragile and confused. Yeah, a combination.
Yeah, thankfully, Renee will have all the patience in the world, and she'll file that bit away, but won't comment on it in the here and now. But we'll just very calmly walk with her, not pulling her, not hauling her along. Just walk with her, take her by the hand, and walk down the hall, down the stairs. back down to where, in theory, Delaroose will be playing music, and Lord knows what else. Though there will be a brief pause at the top of the stairs as she braces herself, because that was really freaky. But everything's fine, and everything needs to be fine, so Tootie will be fine, so she will be just fine, and lead her downstairs.
Yes, where Delaroose is going through a mountain of cocainium. Or alternatively, he is actually dancing away. Slow-paced. The French soliloquy of Edith Piaf. He seems to be dancing with a partner that's not there.
To just kind of have that expression they have in the gift, just stares. You know what I mean?
Until he pirouettes himself more or less over to the stairs and extends a hand towards Tootie.
What Renee sees is the moment she reaches the hand out, Renee sees it like all the muscles in her body seem to relax. And she like interlocks her hands with Delaroose's.
And he smiles brightly.
It's really loud.
Of course. And pulling her into the dance, it pushes them towards the stereo. He pushes the knob to 11 and beyond. Renee, you'll hear the amazing lungs of Edith Piaf just grow louder and louder and louder and louder. In fact, you're pretty sure if it grows a single decibel louder, the glasses on the counter are going to start shaking. The candlesticks are going to start move.
Yeah, she kind of winces a bit as he cranks it higher and higher, but she'll fucking manage. In fact, if nothing else, as Tootie has started to relax and ease herself, she'll just be glad for that much and hunker down on the couch.
And in this...
Oh, God damn it.
No. Delaroose.
Delaroose, no.
Delaroose, no.
Would have been good if I didn't close the fucking thing. With Renee sitting on the sofa, Tootie and Delaroose moving around in a slow circle, he again leans in with Tootie's back turned to Renee and whispers as close to his ear as possible, considering how loud the music is. See? Even at home, you have an audience.
Her smile will brighten. She'll turn and Renee will see it. I'll get the appropriate picture as well for 2D's big, bright, happy smile that she's about to give Renee.
No.
That's what Renee sees.
Oh, Lord. And yeah, Renee has got kind of an easy, mostly relaxed smile going and is just kind of idly watching them dance around. She's probably got her phone in one hand, but isn't playing on it at the moment.
She'll lean into Delaroose. We should talk to her. I might have scared her.
Spare the rod and spoil the child, Tootie. She has a right to be afraid.
I didn't want her to get you in trouble. She like Renee will see it. She like dips her head to the point where she her top of her head like touches Delaroose's chest. Because if I remember, Delaroose is a lot bigger than Duty.
He's about 5'11".
She's 5'8". Yeah, so yeah, she does actually tip her head into Delaroose's chest.
And he tips his head sort of on the top of her head and embraces her more tightly, placing a hand on her head as well.
You should make her afraid of Pod. She's not afraid of him.
She will be. And unseen by 2D, but seen by Renee as he is looking at her, you see Delaroose smile at you, contently.
And yeah, she's kind of been, again, idly looking on, and well, they're being cute, and oh look, Delaroose is smiling, everything's fine now. So she will probably think nothing of it. And just, or at least try really hard to think nothing of it, because earlier that was really creepy with the stare. And you know what? My phone is so engaging.
Well, as these two dead bodies move around in this tightly embraced dance, and one dead body being engrossed by the happenings of social media, Delaroose can't help himself but think of two things. Ask himself two things. How did he get home? Who made dinner?
With that, I think we'll call it. So thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. We'll see you next time on the living. Wait, no, on New Serum. In New Serum, which is not the other place. The scene from New Serum. God bless my little heart.